Welcome, one and all, back to the No Tact Talk podcast. It's your boy Jay again for your weekly edition of the No Tact Talk podcast. Right? I've been going strong for a long time. Every week they say, Jay, how are you so consistent? I said, because I just got to make it do what it do. There ain't no way around it. I just do what it do. People ask me all the time, you want every week, huh? That's right. Anyway, now I had a little chip on my shoulder the last couple of days because people they're being inconsistent for 2020. You either got it or you don't. That's how I figure. COVID ain't stopping no show in no sense of the way. And my guest today is a boss. We'll get to her in a second, but I'm sure she has to shed some light on that as well. Little housekeeping rules. Titan is he's doing great. He's looking at me right now, looking dope under the couch. So you can still follow him on Instagram at Titan the Poodle, dope dog. Um, Today is a weird day for me because I'm actually recording on the Sunday when one just came out, but you'll hear this one next week. But it's a weird day because it just I don't know. I'm like in a funk. I'm in a funk. Alabama won yesterday, which is cool. Um, but enough about me. Enough about me. Today I have Laylen Sawyer. I first was introduced to Laylen Sawyer from her Instagram, her motivational videos that she puts out. Dope material. It's kind of personal. She's like, "Hey, loves, how you do?" She comes on all, just inviting. So I started following her for a good little bit. Checked out her website. Because people ask like, well, Jay, how do you get these people on the podcast? You just ask, bro. But you got to have like-minded people. 'Cause I turn down people as well because we just don't. I don't feel it, right? So, here at No Tech Talk, we love bio. So she had a dope bio on the website. And so she's an international motivational speaker with an MBA toting John Maxwell certified coach. Her passion in life is to empower others to live their best lives. She empowers others to master their mindset and transform their lives. Scared, fearless, skeptical, however you choose to come along, her goal is to help you embrace your most authentic self and walk in your purpose. She will be with you every step of the journey. She has 14 plus years of management, training, coaching, and corporate experience. She's passionate about living a healthy lifestyle and shares her journey of travel as she collaborates with brands. So we're going to talk about the rest of that here in a second. But with all that being said, how's it going?
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Good
Hello.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless,
Yes.
depending on where you are in this blessed and beautiful world. That
That's
is my
awesome.
signature opening line.
Where did that come from? I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, of course. I used to just say good morning, party people.
Right.
And then I started switching it over to good morning, my loves. I think there was a time when everyone was saying love, love, love.
Yeah.
And I started traveling the world and I discovered that it would be a different time zone when I did 6 months of travel. So I
Yeah,
took some time off and just traveled Africa and Europe.
for sure.
And I was like, I don't know where it is and what time it is for my, supporters. So I just started saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on wherever you are, because everyone was tuning in from different time zones. And then
Right.
it just stuck.
So it helps you stick out for sure because there's a lot of I'm even kind of delving into that a little bit. People was asking me about motivational speaking and stuff.
Yeah.
But you want to stick out. People always say what makes you proprietary, and so that creates an instant connection because people got ADD these days. You got the good 30 seconds to get somebody's
Yep.
attention. So that's extremely important. Anyway, so I wanted to let the people know a little bit more about you. And you say, well, no, like a lot of people say, like, oh, I'm on social media, blah, blah, you can find out. Like, no, like podcasts are meant to be an intimate setting.
For
So,
sure.
right. So I kind of want to know a little bit of your story, how you got to where you are now, and what brought the whole motivational thing on, and why do you even care, right? Why do you
Right.
care about people? So what
Right.
kind of got you started on this road for being dope?
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me on first off and for
Oh
just
yeah,
a
for
great
sure.
introduction and taking time to learn about me.
Yes,
It's
sir.
always humbling when someone can actually go research you or read up on you and then wants to interview you. So I'm in deep appreciation for
Oh
that.
yeah, all good.
I moved to Los Angeles about 10 years ago.
Okay.
So it says that I have 14 years of consulting, management, all these years of experience, and a position came open to
Mm.
actually work in California.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know I have a background in legal risk compliance, which is nowhere on the internet. And a consulting offer came open, and I was like, you know what? I've never lived there. I think it'd be a great opportunity, and I'd
Yeah.
be able to embark on a new journey. So I went to California and quickly, obviously, wanted to dive into some acting classes and do more things in that space since I
Really?
already was in the city.
Okay.
And I decided to take acting. And I'll never forget my teacher. I never say his name, but I actually should because he's actually a big part of one of the two people that got me into self development and just on the journey of self.
Okay. Yep.
And his name was Max Decker. And he actually would always talk about being true to your character in acting class. And he
Mm-hmm.
would say, you can't come up here and fake it. You know, you can't keep going in if you're not truly peeling back those layers of who you are as an individual and learning more
Right.
about yourself. And I also had an amazing mentor, really great friend, the late great Michael Maddox, who would also say, you got to clean your
Mm.
trash out. You got to get that trash out of your life. And a lot of that starts with you looking at that person in the mirror. And so I started really going on a journey of just self discovery, learning more about my past and thought process. And long story
Yeah.
short, I was not raised by my biological mother, and I didn't understand how much of an impact that had on self esteem and the
Right.
decisions I made. And everyone handles things differently. And so my thought process was to focus on success and being very
Mm.
successful and being everything to everyone per my therapist, which I
So
do
who's
recommend
sharpening
everyone.
you though? Because I'm that way. I talk therapy on here all the time. I call them Jay's therapy sessions. It's just an episode dedicated to my session. So who is, pouring into you rather? Because it's
I
easy
think
for us to do
for
something else.
I think for a long time I believe pretty strongly in therapy, and so I
Yeah.
actually will, not so much that they're pouring into me, but they're just helping me have a better understanding of who I am.
Well, no,
I
I'm
do a
saying that who in your circle pours into you. Because if you are everything to everybody else, you got to have an inner
mhm.
circle, right? You have people like that.
At the time, no one, and
Okay.
that's why I went on that journey because there was no one pouring into me, but it actually
Yeah.
led to me sharing my epiphanies or my thought process and what I was learning throughout therapy, acting
Mm-hmm.
class, and my coach. And then I started doing these morning messages. And that's how the morning messages got started. In about 2011 or
Mm.
2012, I started saying, good morning. My thought of the day is.
Okay.
And people started catching on and calling me their life coach. And I went on to actually get John Maxwell certified as a coach, speaker, and a trainer.
So what does that mean when you say I'm John Maxwell certified? Like,
So John Maxwell, being an incredible author
yeah.
of 21 Irrefutable Laws and all these
Hey.
other great books, he actually has a 1 week. He has an online program, and then you go at the end for 1 week, and you
Mm-hmm.
actually get certified through his. You get to meet him and
Yeah.
hear some valuable lessons and speeches from him, and then he signs and he does a picture with you. And so,
That's fire.
going through that, it's like you get to learn the amazing principles that he has to offer,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives people the ability to understand that you took more time to invest in yourself. So you're just not getting on saying a morning message. You actually
Yeah.
went through some additional coursework and did
You're
your
vetted.
part.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
when I used to personal train back in the day, um, it wasn't the training, like the physicality of it all. It was more mental. And so
Mhm.
our first three sessions would be at Starbucks. And so we would talk and
Yep.
they'd be like, I'm ready to work out. I said, no, just chill. And I think I was the only person in that city doing it like that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was like peeling back an onion. You talking about trauma. I had a lady who she fell down the stairs and she actually moved, right? To another a one level house because she was afraid of stairs because she had like some
Oh,
physical issues,
wow.
right? So of course she
Wow.
was trying to lose weight, but she was afraid of stairs because she
Wow.
fell and that like propelled her into this dark place. And so
Mhm.
I became a therapist like
Mhm.
through it, right? And so
Mhm.
I said I need to know your why because you're not supposed to have a trainer forever, in my opinion. Get the
Right.
tools, do what you need to do. I just want you in Planet Fitness looking at the little pictures on the machine. I want you to already know how to use it, right? And
Right.
so, because what happens is people are training with somebody for a wedding, they look all good, and then they start eating bad again, and it's like
Yep.
you never talk to Jay. So now I say, I want you to walk around and represent me, right? That's what I
Right.
say. Like you're an extension of my work. So, I mean, figuring out how people operate and how people think, different social cues, they help me train them better.
Yep.
They help me know when I need to be a little more critical or I need to just chill out because a lot of trainers just go like they don't care, trying to be this rough guy.
Right.
But you're really understanding the why. That really helped me with women too, to be honest.
So many
Just
people are
understanding women.
we are interesting
Oh
creatures, to
man.
say the least. So many people are suffering from trauma and don't
Yeah.
speak about it, and they find different tools or coping mechanisms and things to just mask that pain.
Yeah.
And so that's incredible that you do that. And it's actually interesting. A lot of people are starting to learn this about me, is I now do mindset coaching. And
Oh,
people are like,
okay.
they're
So
like,
what,
mindset
so when
coaching,
you
what's
start, yeah,
that?
right. Yeah, right. What is that?
Essentially, there's so many roadblocks, and because we're our own biggest critic, and we're also harsh on ourselves, and we have that mental negative game that we play with ourselves. I help
Mm-hmm.
people uncover and unpack some of that baggage,
Yeah.
and actually learn how to overcome that internal voice and get step outside of themselves, or get out of their own way, in
Mm-hmm.
order to really like conquer their mindset, their thought process, and the way that they go about like being intentional towards their
Yeah.
goals. So it's like a lot of listening, because a lot of times no
Yeah.
one has someone to listen. They want to just talk and tell you about all their
Yeah.
problems, but underneath those problems and the things that they say is a gateway to really help them uncover, some steps and things that they need to do to go after the goal that
Yeah.
seems like a mountain to them, or to start actually a physical fitness, or go on
Yeah.
a training goal. And it's great because you really are their life coach. They're talking to you
Yeah.
about what happened every morning, or whenever you all work out, they're telling you about their boyfriend and who broke up
Yes.
with
So many
who.
people cheating on
You're
who.
their
I'm
life
like, oh my
coach.
goodness. I got
Yeah,
some
more than training, you are the therapist.
That's it. And so it's
Yeah.
understanding that even now, like all of my jobs have been me running my mouth. Even now I'm a recruiter for the Army, right? And so now
Awesome.
I'm talking from people between, 17 and 35, and how to talk to a 17-year-old who has no idea, or how to talk to that
Right.
30-year-old guy who feels like he's wasted his life, or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
right? And
Right.
so I think I'll say we, since I'm getting in that space, but more so you. I think
Right.
that's a skill that people kind of overlook.
Mhm.
My
Mhm.
mentor, he does it. He's actually a motivational speaker professionally, travels and all
Wow.
type of stuff. I can't wait to get with him after all this COVID stuff with. But
Right.
he's it's just about understanding like the human condition. It's such a skill that's overlooked. Like, and it's like now, like you probably like, okay, cool, got the headphones already, kind of you peek your game out, just you automatically start doing it. And
Right.
now everywhere you go, it's like I'm looking people up and down, like like a robot, like just trying to figure people out. Because
Yeah.
guys do that naturally. The guys do
Yeah.
that. So if you meet somebody, oh, what's up, bro? We automatically sizing them up. Can I beat them up? Can I take
Right.
it down real?
Right.
I think females do that too. Maybe I'm wrong, like, but it's like, okay, she cool, got a little butt, all right, she hair straight, might be fake though, whatever, right? We always do it.
Right.
We're judging folks,
For
right?
sure. For sure.
But when you making it constructive, I think, like you said, you had to do your own self development before you have to help somebody else. And that's
Yeah, and we
part of
judge
that.
ourselves
Yeah,
more than anything. All the sizing up, we're judging
yeah,
ourselves in the morning. When we get out of the shower, we're having these these mindset talks or these conversations with ourselves. It's just like, why do you think you can do that? How come you think you can achieve that goal? Why do you think he wants to date you, or she wants to date you?
mm-hmm. What do you think? I think I get too deep, but what do you think is some of the things that you had to kind of get over so that you could help others?
Honestly, it was just self love, which is
Okay.
why I actually wrote a book on it, because
Yeah.
my thought process was, if my biological mother, the conversation that I was having with myself was, if she did not want to be in my life or be present at the
Oh
moment, excuse
wow.
me, who else would want to love me? So it was the self love. Why are you worthy
Mm,
conversation that I had to get over and really love on myself, be good to myself, unpack some of that childhood trauma. A lot of
yeah.
people are suffering from childhood trauma. So I actually take childhood trauma classes
Yeah.
continuously to learn more about how to unpack some of that for my clients, as well as anything that may resurface within myself. So a lot
That
of
was
it was
my
just
first
like,
couple sessions too with my therapist.
yeah,
Childhood
yeah,
trauma, man.
childhood trauma, what happened, how you processed it as a child, and how you took it with you, and then the way you rephrased it in your mind, and you carried that along the way, and
Yeah.
it shaped so many of your decisions and the relationships that you got
Ooh,
involved in.
yes. I mean, we start. So I didn't really like notice that I had any issues like that. I thought they were gone. It was cool. I grew out of it, whatever, right?
Right.
But when COVID hit, it forced people, especially myself, to just
Mhm.
chill and sit down. And so it's like,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Instead of working out, going to work, blah blah blah, all this stuff I always got to do. Now it's like you at your house. And
Yep.
so throughout the day, you're forced to think about your own thoughts. And oh man, that did bother me. Oh man, like, and so I'm like, I might need to talk to somebody. I had like an epiphany when I was like, I might need to work through this. I found
Yeah.
myself in tears one time,
Yeah.
like going through my head, like, man, that was messed up. Anyway,
No,
um,
that's powerful that you said that, and more
yeah,
importantly, that you can be vulnerable because
oh
as
yeah,
a race, being black or whether we're multicultural or mixed with other
yeah,
things, we have an issue with being vulnerable, an
yeah,
issue with therapy. When you say I'm going to a therapist, people are like, "Are you crazy?" Like, no, I'm not.
right.
I love myself enough to
Your
uncover
mental health is
and
extremely
discover
important.
what's going on. So being able to cry, it's
Yeah,
so soothing for the soul. Now you can't be running around crying every
yeah,
day, all day long,
just a moment, right?
just crying, but you need to take that time to like
Yeah,
just allow it to heal and allow those fears and frustrations to shed through
yeah.
whatever your coping mechanism is.
I did an episode called "Rip the Band-Aid Off." She's a doctor in social work. Shout out to April, right? She called it multi-generational trauma, right? And so obviously there's people are figuring it out, but there even Charlamagne the God talked about this. Slavery down to now, we're still like dealing with that. Obviously the therapy thing, men not wanting to go to the hospital,
Hmm.
different things that, like you said, are you crazy going into the therapy? Or it's just everything that we
Hmm.
normalize. So now
Hmm.
I'm trying to get better. Now I'm the bad guy. Or even
Right.
having money. Oh, you rich,
Right.
huh? You think no, bro, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have wealth and not just be rich.
Right. You're supposed to
When did
get
it become
better.
a bad thing to leave a dead situation?
Right.
Why why you gotta be a hater just because I'm doing better? Like,
Right.
people automatically go to that, and it's so frustrating, And so
Yeah.
in that process for me, losing friends, obviously,
Hmm.
growing and glowing, doing what I got to do, hitting these different tiers, and just
Hmm.
start to look at people, even your own folks, differently.
Right.
I've
Right.
been, I've been talking about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say it makes me think of Don Miguel Ruiz in the book with the Four Agreements, where it talks about not
Mm,
taking things personal,
yeah.
and that's a big thing for us. Period. And when I say us, like just
Yeah.
humans, when something happens, you're not sure what kind of day that person had. They may be rude to you, and you're like, and it just throws your whole energy or shifts your
Hmm.
day because you've allowed that person. Maybe they got bad news, maybe they ran out of gas, maybe they, something happened,
Yeah.
and then they projected that energy on you. And we really have to get to the point where we learn not to take things personal because it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with you. It's that person, and it's the energy and what they feel about themselves. And the quicker we can get into that, we can be a little bit more kind to ourselves, and then
Yeah.
other people we can be more forgiving.
Okay. So what makes you different than somebody else that's doing something similar than what that you're doing? So
I
like,
think that I am a continuous student. I'm always,
mm,
for as long as I can remember getting into the self development journey,
yeah,
I'm always focused on growth and surrounding myself with other people that pull
mm,
me up and that elevate me and that make me step on my tippy toes. I know Lisa Nichols always talks about like being around people that
yeah,
make you step on your tippy toes. And it's like
hmm,
wanting to stretch myself and, like you said, grow and glow and get into
yeah,
those groups, whether it's just a mastermind group or some sort of, I've done Eric Thomas's programs
yeah.
and different people that I've surrounded myself with. I'm in other leaders like Neo. He has a coaching program. He has a monthly one. So it's just like I'm
Well, that's what's up.
constantly
You feeding the
surrounding
beast,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like learning
Supporting
a new
other
language,
speakers.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's dope.
And being a continuous student. I think sometimes people get so comfortable or set in their ways
Yeah,
that they start to then think that they know it all, not realizing that you are a lifelong student.
hmm,
You're always going to be learning because things will change. No one ever knew COVID would happen. So many people were completely shocked with COVID.
upended, right?
Yes, whether they were going crazy, beating their head up against the wall, or they just decided, like, okay, this is not going away. When it happened the first week or two, we're like, okay, this is cute.
Yeah.
And
Get a little
then a
break,
month
right?
into it, and then 5 months later, you're like everything is different.
Mm,
We're learning to
yeah.
adapt. We're doing,
Some
more
people are
virtual
learning to
things.
adapt.
Some
That
people are learning, and
people
other people are
people say I'm being
hiding
rude,
under their beds.
not knowing. You talk about the people that are, I call them with serial brick and mortars, right? So like they only want to do
Yes.
just in the person. No, bro, like take the thing virtual. Get you a Facebook, get you a website. Oh no, I've been doing it this way for 30 plus years. Okay, well, you can't do it anyway anymore. You know,
You'll be like Blockbuster.
you know what I'm saying? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry. By
That
the
was
way, the
funny.
last Blockbuster just closed down a week ago, someone
I
said.
saw that. I did. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, sorry I just was like, all right, you're gonna be like Blockbuster.
Listen, that should be a shirt. All right, now you're
Yeah.
gonna end up like Blockbuster. For me,
Adjust or end up like
right.
Blockbuster.
See, you got that for me. I want 10% off that shirt.
I got
Um,
you.
when you don't have any children, do you?
No,
So good. So maybe I won't be offend you, but
no.
so the biggest thing for me that has like affected folks, and it's not like no deep thing, COVID thing, but it's like making
Mhm.
lunches for children.
Mhm. You have children?
No, I have a puppy.
Oh,
He's a child, but no,
all in himself.
yeah, he keeps me up at night.
Mm.
No, so it's funny, but for me, it's like I've seen so many posts and like legit like Facebook groups about people just like dealing with like the school and like
Mm.
making lunch. When did I become a lunch? Like it's your child. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't
I
have children.
know. Right.
It just seems weird to me. That's like the biggest thing for me. But
Yeah.
so speaking of Eric Thomas, so last year I was supposed to start this podcast. Ended up doing addition. I'm talking about right before COVID. Like I started it, and so what I wanted to focus on, and something that I think people can glean from our conversation, is the ability to be consistent.
Right.
So when people want to start something, they want it to be perfect, right? My first couple episodes, the mic was trash. Had to get another one. Like the visuals weren't the best or whatever else. But I had to focus on just putting stuff out there.
Mhm.
And so what do you tell people who's like, well, this is my baby and I want to just do, it got all these excuses of why not. What do you
Right.
tell them to start and just say, hey, quit complaining, quit whining, and just do it, right?
That's essentially what you have to say. Honestly, sometimes people are not ready to take action until they're ready to and open to receive it. They can hear that a million times.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, what is it? When the student is ready, the teacher will teach. It's one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where they just don't. They focus more. You know what I tell them? I tell them to focus more on what they want more of. I tell them
Yeah.
to focus more on the solution than they do the problem. I actually used to suffer from analysis paralysis, and I have to stop myself
Analysis for
sometimes.
I just heard it recently. Can you describe
Mm-hmm.
to the people that what that might look like?
It's just what you said. We are wanting to. I actually am supposed to start my
Uh-oh.
podcast, and you analyze so many things.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it in the setting that it was in. So I was like, I'll wait for this, and these things have to be. And you analyze so many things, and so honestly, you just don't take action because you
Yeah.
are wanting all the details to take place, and as a result, you don't move forward, and you don't trial and error, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
fail forward, and you'll just sit still, and 1 month will go by, and then 1 year will go by, and you'll be like, it's no longer an idea for you. It's something you're no longer pursuing. And that's why I
Right.
teach people I hold them accountable and teach them to take action into
Yeah.
what they're actually needing to do.
So for me, I'm a big sticky note guy, right? And so, like you
Love
said,
it.
immersion. And so I have to constantly, if I'm gonna be a boss every day, and my dad always say, you can't take any days off of being a man. You can't just be a boy
Mm,
one day and be a man the next day on Thursday, right? So you gotta
mm-hmm.
like continually do it. So how do you recommend that people stay in that mindset, that 1% mindset, ET beast mode, right? How do you recommend that people stay in that? Because yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna do this 1 week thing. People are good on like losing weight. I'm gonna do this 1 week fast. I'm gonna do this 30-day this. It's 1 year to greatness. So what? No, like
Right.
how do you do it continually? In your opinion?
Right. It's the morning routine. So on my
Okay.
website, when you subscribe, I have a morning routine that actually gives you what I start my morning with, and it just gives you a journal entry. And it consists of waking up and doing some sort of meditation and
Okay.
or prayer, And then I also do setting an intention. So I have a wall of affirmations in my bathroom.
Okay.
So as soon as I open the door, I see all the affirmations for me, just what I want to speak over my life, because so
Mm-hmm.
many people, there's such power in our words. We're focused on a lot of negativity, and we don't
Yeah.
realize by saying every day in every way I'm getting better. I'm always in the right place at the right time, successfully engaging in the right activity.
Nice.
Those things are what I start my day off with. And then I do enjoy some sort of physical. If you're walking around the block, getting fresh air, going for a run. I do sit
Mm-hmm.
ups and push ups in the morning, even if I can't do anything else. I'll start my day off with that.
How many
And
push-ups can
then
you do?
not that many, like 20.
Hey, you doing better than most.
Right. Like, and those are girl push ups. So
You got to give me at least good 5 good ones. I'm
I
just
could
kidding.
do 5 good ones. And I do this thing where I do that meditation, prayer,
Yeah.
affirmation, and I actually read my Bible. It sounds like a lot, but it doesn't take more than 20 or 30
Yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
20 or 30 minutes by yourself. And then I read something. So right now I'm reading a book by Brendan Burchard.
Okay.
It talks about habits. I'm very big on habits. I read a lot of things about habits.
Yes.
And then I write in my journal. And journaling, if you are not currently doing it, is such a powerful
I do
tool.
audio journals. I can't
That's
write it
cool.
down. I do audio journals. Like I do every time I go to
Okay.
therapist. And I listen back to them probably like every quarter. Uh, I'm
Really?
I'm
That's amazing.
I'm critical of myself, right?
Yeah, we
I
all are.
I try to like even before I get in the argument, if I know I'm finna argue with somebody, I said let me just look in the mirror and make sure I'm absolutely right. That way I can just really go in. But right, I do that. I'm be honest. And so, but for myself, I never like being addicted to anything. That it gets on my nerves. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
if I feel like I'm drinking too much, let me just stop for like a month. Or if I feel like whatever too much, right? I
Right,
like things to have
right.
a hold over me. So I'm always doing like this self discovery because we change. I could like
Right.
chocolate chip cookies one day and I like them the next.
Right, right, right.
And
Yeah.
I talk to people in marriages about that and relationships and it's like what she was like 10 years ago, she might not be like that now. But you
Mhm.
stuck on 10 years ago. It's wonder
Mhm.
why y'all in this issue.
Mhm.
Um, One thing that it was dope I saw a while back. You said that we can't run game on the game of life.
Oof, honey.
Drops bomb, right? And you put the both games in bold. So
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? You can't run game on the game of life. End quote.
You know, honestly, I think so. I do these quotes or my thought process
Yeah.
every day. I'm writing stuff down. And one day I was thinking, we try to cut all these corners and we try to do all these, you know, loopholes. But
Yeah.
the one thing you can't do is you can't run from the person in the mirror. You can lie to everyone else in the world, but when you get in front of that mirror,
Yeah.
there's no lying to yourself. And that's the same way it is about life.
Mm,
It's like you can mask as many things, you can try to brush on everything under the rug, you can try to do all these tips, these tricks and loopholes,
yeah.
but you never can outrun yourself. You can never run game on life.
That's dope.
And so when I thought about that day, and that's the other thing is, as my messages, were followed by more people, and my brand grew, the
Right.
beautiful part about it is that I was talking to myself when I do my daily posts 90% of the time, or at least 80% of the time now, because I'll hear things that resonate with me. I'm talking to
Hmm.
myself. So it's a learning lesson or something that I've gone through, and then I'll write it out and then go back and just kind of reread it and see how I can apply the lesson to life. But the reason
Yeah.
how that even begun is I did 365 days of a year of yes. I got that from Shonda Rhimes. She has a book,
Yeah.
The Year of Yes. And so
Okay.
for 365 days, I was actually tasked with writing, blogging, and every single day I would come up with these quotes, and everything that I was writing, I'd
Hmm.
look back and it would actually, like in the morning, I'm just saying, today, this is my thought process on whatever. And by the end of that day, what I wrote would actually have come true. I was writing it into existence. And so I would have to be really
Oh
careful. I'm like,
wow.
well, I need to write something better tomorrow because
Yeah.
I wrote this and this actually
Oh
I would just
wow.
I'm just a deep thinker. So I'd say, don't allow, people to get under your skin. You are stronger or more, like just now when you said, when I'm getting ready for an argument,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's power in words. And you'd say, I'm going to argue with someone. Realistically, you're the dominant energy in whatever you're doing. You can
Yeah.
shift that argument to there being a solution. So I had to start
Nah,
shifting from the
we argue.
no.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yeah, just I had to start shifting from the I'm going to argue
Yeah.
with this person to today is going to be full of breakthrough. It's going to be full
Yeah.
of, like, my favorite word right now is abundance.
Mm.
Abundance,
Mine is
prosperity.
egregious. I have favorite words.
Egregious.
It has nothing to do with positivity. It's like I highlight words for how they sound. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna go to it right now. Hold on.
Okay. No, I like that. And that's also expanding your vocabulary, and
Yeah,
it's yeah.
we got
Yeah.
contrite. That's a
Okay.
good one.
Yes.
Emissary,
Okay.
specificity.
Specificity.
Behoove was a good one.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, eclectic.
Mhm.
Eclectic. I'm sorry, eclectic. Yeah. I have favorite words. I
I
write stuff
love
down,
it.
right? And so
Okay.
I got that from my mom. She has like I'm talking about mountains of notebooks, like favorite
Oh,
words, favorite
wow.
movies, everybody else's favorite words, favorite movie. Like she loves caring about people. So like for your
Yeah.
birthday, she'll send you out this list like in like January or something. She'll say, you fill this out, and it'd be like your favorite like everything, right?
Okay.
And then for your birthday, she'll send you like everything that was on that list.
Oh, wow.
I mean, crazy. Um, like what you were saying, like I write these things down, and
Right.
obviously the words is a weird example, but I was feeling bad a couple months ago, so I went to my favorite movies list and watched every
Mm.
one of my favorite movies and felt all the
Mm.
feels. Like I dropped a tear on Fury because it was a
Mm.
crazy movie, right?
Mhm.
Ali, real motivational with Will Smith.
Right.
When he's
Right.
talking to the reporter about
Right.
fighting Joe Frazier, the whole thing, and so I was feeding myself, feeding my soul, right?
Got
Everybody
it.
got spirit, but really, I'm feeding my inner spirit, man. Right,
Right.
and
Right.
so we have to make it a subconscious effort to, we have to make it a conscious effort. So when
Mhm.
we tap into the subconscious, when we do things without realizing it, and
Mhm.
that's what greatness comes from. So
Right.
that's
Yeah. No,
amazing.
I think that's incredible. And actually, what you just did is what I train a lot of my clients on. It's called the Rant of Appreciation. I actually
Yeah,
got it from Abraham Hicks. So whenever you're having a bad day, you can shift your energy. You can take
yeah,
a moment, take a step back, count to 5, take a few deep breaths, count to 10, go for a walk. But I always ask them to focus on the things that make them happy
mm-hmm.
and give them a good feeling or change their energy. So it can be your puppy, or your dog. If you
Yeah,
once you see them and you know that the love or the admiration they have for you, they're so
yeah,
excited to see you, little things like that. And so you have your movies list,
yeah.
and that can help really shift your energy or even re-energize whatever you're doing for like your motivation or the thing to get
That's
you
it.
excited again. That's incredible.
That appreciate that.
You're
So,
welcome.
nobody ever says you're welcome. That's crazy. That's
I
amazing.
know I try to say
In
please,
itself,
thank you, and you're welcome, because my mom
that's
was always like,
amazing.
she was like, you want me to do what? Can you get the chair? What and what else? Please. And then what? Thank you.
You
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah. Please, thank you. You're welcome.
I'm telling you, the keys to life, just being nice to folks. That's
Yeah.
what The Rock says. He was like, I'm probably misquoting him. He was like, just be kind. I'm pretty sure what he said. Just be
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
They say,
Because
how'd you
everyone's
go ahead?
fighting a battle that you know nothing about. Just be kind to
Just
them.
be kind. Because
Yeah.
they asked him how he got all his success. I'm just kind. And it just so happened to be, that famous director. It just so happened to be that person. I didn't know who he was. Just be kind,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Um, so we're recording this, what is it, a day or two? I think it's a day or two after we hear the results about Breonna Taylor. I
Mhm.
don't want to, because I get extremely passionate because, we talked about this
Mm.
prior to, recording, but
Mhm.
I wanted I want to get your perspective on
Mm.
being a black woman, hearing those
Mhm.
results,
Mhm.
hearing the outcry from multiple people, black, white, purple, whatever. You know,
Mm.
I love how they're changing the games on Facebook. It's the arrest of, it's the whatever for me, it's the hair for me, right? But
Mhm.
I saw one that said it's the arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor for me. Like I love how people are
Mm.
still making it a part of the
Mhm.
conversation.
Mhm. Mhm.
So first thoughts on that, and I'll get to my second question. But what did you think about that? And
I
because I
mean,
wasn't surprised.
Right, right. So many mixed emotions
Yeah.
on so many levels. It definitely makes you angry. It's not just her, it's all the things that have been
Yeah.
happening. And not to take away from her situation specifically, but it's just everyone is tired. Everyone is hurt. As things
Yeah.
happen more, it's like you really tap into those feelings, and you actually tap into, like
Yeah.
like you said, being able to allow yourself to feel the emotion.
Yeah.
And people are realizing that the problem is not going away. It's been happening for so long, and the problem's not going away. And it teaches you so much about what still needs to be
Mm.
corrected and
Yeah.
what still needs to happen. And it makes you angry, but that also needs to fuel us to shift it in a way, or shift it in an energy where
Yeah.
we find ways to do the right things with that energy,
Yeah.
so to speak. Because there's a lot of things you can do. That you can be angry, you can, like, it's, like, I'm not comparing what's happened to her to COVID, but like you said, COVID, you can be positive and adjust, or you can
Yeah.
be angry and whatever. And obviously what happened is tragic, and it's not something to be handled lightly. And so we can be angry, and we
Yeah.
should be angry, but then now what can we do? What can we do next?
And I thought about you knowing that we was gonna do this podcast after I heard the results. I think you were speaking to a room full of women,
Mm-hmm.
and for one, before I get into
Mm-hmm.
that, you had a really good cadence. If anybody
Dating.
speaks on a daily basis or has like a speaking role or whatever, like a cadence is how people talk.
Yeah,
So
thank
like
you.
some guys or people in general, like they're the drop the mic type cadence people. They wait.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Right.
believe,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
Trent Shelton.
yeah,
You
right.
sounded like him just now.
So I always look at people's cadence, preachers, speakers,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
when they make mistakes. How do
yeah.
they overcome that, right? Or
Yeah.
like, especially like a lot of speakers that wear dark colors because they don't want to be sweating. So you might see like a little pit stain or something. You gotta pay attention.
Mm.
I noticed you had a really
Mm.
good cadence, but yeah, you're very passionate, when you
Yeah.
speak. And
Thank you.
so as a black female,
Mm-hmm.
being successful, right? Um, do you feel a responsibility to kind of, help the queens out, or just be great for them, and or just kind of help mold them? Because we talked about, I give people a little context to the question. I talked to her about, I talked to a couple of women that are doing great, doctors,
Mm-hmm.
lawyers, everything,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the outside they're good, but they go home and
Mm-hmm.
I have all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
great, million likes on my pictures, everything, but they go
Mm-hmm.
home broken. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted you to kind of speak on that, because I'm just me. I'm just Jay, right?
Right, right,
But what can
right,
you tell that person who might feel broken, who might feel kind of been out of shape about hearing those results, knowing that it could have been them, right? Knowing that
right,
if that happened to them, that they probably wouldn't get justice based off what we've seen. And that's kind of a deep question, but
right.
raise your
Because I
hand.
feel like there's almost no words that you can say to make them feel more okay with what happened. I don't feel
Yeah.
like there's anything you can say to comfort them, make them feel better,
Okay.
or to make them be okay with the situation. I think what I can say is we each have to do our own part. So I
Yeah.
am very motivated to do things for women, and just period. Obviously I have a lot of male followers as well. And I think so many people are just hurting on so many levels, and so many people are
Yeah.
masking a lot of things. Like you said, people are like, I'm boss chick this, and then they go
Yeah.
home and
Yeah.
they're underneath the hair and the eyelashes and everything
Hmm.
else. They're very unhappy. It really just goes back to, honestly, that self-love component. That's
Okay.
why self-love is so important. And it also is just you taking a responsibility for your part of what you can do to change or shift the narrative, to change the
Hmm.
narrative. And it's really applying that every day, showing up and showing up as the best version of yourself and a better version of yourself, so
Hmm.
that you can do your part. Because it's a ripple effect. If everyone is focused on genuinely leaving something, the
Yeah.
world, your current circumstances, your position at your workplace, your relationship, if you're concerned with leaving it better than you found it, that energy that you send out is what you'll also
Yeah.
exude, and it will help build a momentum. And I think more now than ever, I hope that more people are kind of in that energy of, I need to do my part and leave it better
Yeah.
than I found it. And for the people who are hurting, that are not able to be vocal about it. You're not alone. And that's the thing, is like there's never been a time more now than ever to be vulnerable and say, I am hurt, I am
Yeah.
upset, I am hurt. And I had to learn that I can't always share the good things with people. I have to let people know I had a rough week, I had a bad day. And people were surprised by that, because you always hear me say, good morning, my loves, this is my
Yeah.
message for the day. Some days I'd have to say, I, like today I told you, so I haven't slept in a month. And so
Yeah.
that's going to naturally shift your energy, and it's going to be low. And just being transparent allows people to be able to receive you, because they
Mm-hmm.
also know that they have to approach you in a certain way.
Yeah.
But it all goes down to self-love. You have to love. Kamal Ravi Khan wrote a book called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It.
That's yeah. Yep.
Now
That's
more
that
than
quote.
ever,
Yep.
you have to
Mm.
love yourself like your life depends on it. Because if you are not happy, healthy, whole, and complete, if you are not focused and filled up, and your glass is not full, you can't pour into other people.
Mm. Whew. Hey, so we gonna charge this on Patreon? I'm just playing. No. Hey, y'all getting the
Honey,
nuggets. We are getting the nuggets.
honey,
That was amazing.
thank you.
I think for me, like we talked about as well, you have to feel the feels. You have to allow yourself
Mm,
to feel the feels
yep.
and to process it, but move
Yeah.
forward. Don't get stuck
Yeah.
in the rut. I think
Yeah.
that's. I don't think you can ever say that enough.
Yeah. That's why I tell my
You know.
my clients, this is so brave of you. You're so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's so brave, because the average person, like you said, is trying to be tough, or, be a
Hmm.
manly man and not feel emotions, not cry. That's
Yeah.
brave.
We were just talking about that. I was on this men's meeting last week, and I said being vulnerable. I was talking about Jonathan and David, right,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole dynamic of friendship. And I said
Mm-hmm.
they were vulnerable with each other. When you say that you're doing life with somebody,
Mm,
the word of the day was accountability, and I looked up the definition of accountability, and it's like an obligation, which is the word I choose.
right.
You obligated to like, so
Right.
if I don't know, I did cocaine, right, like 10 years ago, and I'm an addict,
Right.
and
Right.
I've been
Right.
better, and so you know that I'm going to Vegas next week, so you probably might want to call me. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you good? I mean, I ain't
Right.
trying to be fake, but just make you obligated. So when that person fails, you fail, because y'all
Right.
made that bond. Y'all are
Right.
connected. You know, through
Right.
friendship, a covenant, right? Use some spirit,
Covenant.
Bible words, right? They had a
Honey.
covenant, right?
Right.
Together, and but they were using words like affection and love, and guys
Mm-hmm.
don't like using those words, or even saying, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I love you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, bro."
Yeah.
And so one of my best friends had to kind of help me with that, because if you know anything about my daddy, like he like, all right, cool, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
seeing my dad grow, now he's like this teddy bear. He's all about his family, love,
That's
kindness.
awesome.
Yeah, but early him was like, hey, whatever, it's like we grow, we realize what's important. And
Right.
so I think that when we say we're doing life with somebody, you my best friend, you make all these posts and stuff on Facebook, but you're not there when it really counts,
Yep.
you're doing them a disservice. Okay.
Huge.
I'm
Yeah.
not, not gonna keep you all day. So
No worries.
last two segments I wanted to hit,
Okay.
super important staples here at the No Tech Talk podcast, right? Staples here. But is the first one is, if you could have any superpower in the world, in the universe, what would it be? Okay, and how would you make money from it? Now I want a selfish answer. Selfish answer. Don't be like, I want to make the world a better place. I want to end world hunger. I want a real, like, if I could make Layden's life better, because people always try to
I
think
would actually do two things.
go for it.
I would want the ability to read people's thoughts.
Ooh, okay.
I wouldn't want it all the time. Like, what was that
So
one
you were a
movie?
super villain. Okay, gosh.
Yeah, the one movie where she could hear everything they said with
Oh, the one with
with
the
the
Cookie Lion. What was her name?
yeah,
Her. Yeah.
yeah. So I would want that one. That'd
Okay.
be amazing. And then I would want the ability to freeze time
Ooh.
so I could get more done.
With right. With that
Or
freeze.
if I'm with someone special or my family and I'd like
Yeah.
to just freeze that moment in time, because time is the most precious commodity, it's
Yeah.
priceless. We don't get more of it. I would want the ability to just freeze it for a little
You got to
bit.
be specific though, because I'm like a nerd, right? So like when you're freezing time, if you do it so much, you're still aging, but time is still. So people gonna
I'd
think you
want
look
to not
old all the
age
time. There
either.
you go.
No, no aging.
Just look this way the rest of my life.
It literally would freeze time for everything.
Yes. So how would you make money though? By reading people's mind? Because you sound like a supervillain now. You don't sound like a superhero.
I think it would allow me to coach them better because now I'd be able to hear some of the things that maybe they don't feel comfortable saying, and
Mm,
I'd be able to help them, like, to aid them in certain areas and aspects of their
yeah.
life that would just be better for them, so that, or if they're not feeling it, obviously great for you to know that too, because
Yeah.
everyone is not for everyone. And that's the beautiful thing about the power of choice.
That'd be hard to have a relationship though, right? Like I
I
wouldn't.
think
I
it's
like.
something that I'd like to turn off and on. So I wouldn't want to read all your thoughts.
But
I'd want
if
the
the guy
ability
knew
to,
that you had that power, it's like
he
you would
wouldn't
never.
know.
Okay,
No.
that's creepy.
No one would know I could freeze time, and no one would know that I could
That's
read your
messed
thoughts.
up. Oh, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it'd be convenient.
But
Dang.
see, when you look for trouble, you find it. So right. So I'm not looking for trouble in the aspect of, like, I need to read your thoughts, what you did last night, because
Mm.
at some point in time there has to be a level of trust, because what you give out, you get back in
But don't
return.
go through their phones, lady. Don't go through his phone.
No, I don't. I definitely don't think you should. Whatever you are looking for, you will find, good and bad.
Because even
And
if
when
he
you're
ain't doing
going
nothing,
through their
it's gonna look
phone,
bad. Yeah.
you looking for the bad. So when you find it a week later or a month later, and it's not what you think, it's because you brought that energy
So
on
now
yourself. Because if
ooh,
you got to do that, then don't don't
that's
be
extremely
with that
mature.
person.
Yeah. Okay. Um, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, last segment, and we're out of here. It's the scripture. It's an
Mhm.
essential part of No Tech Talk podcast. It's a Christianish podcast, right?
Mhm.
Talk about it. People know my faith. I did a couple of episodes, actually a lot of episodes, like church hurt and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
And so, no matter if we talking about pencils, we still end up in the scripture. So, this
Mhm.
particular scripture is just for you, right?
Okay.
No one has ever gotten the scripture before. No
Oh
one will ever
wow.
get it again. It's going
Nice.
down in my notes, right? In history,
Okay.
so I can't use
Uh,
it again ever,
all
right?
right. Okay.
So I usually pray on these scriptures, kind of meditate on, like you said,
Awesome.
and normally they have something to do with what we talked about. Legit, I do it. I put it in my notes right before we start talking, and it usually coincides. So we'll see what happens.
I got it.
Um, so it's from Psalms 132, verses 3 through 5.
Okay.
New Living Translation. Translations are important, people. They are
Right.
important. Don't just KJV your whole life, okay? You got to do a New Living Translation. Anyway, so it says, I will not go home. I will not let myself rest. I will not let my eyes sleep, nor close my eyelids in slumber until I find a place to build a house for the Lord, a
Mm.
sanctuary for the mighty one of Israel. Whew. So, little
Mm.
context, David wrote Psalms, right? But
Mhm.
there's a sense of urgency that I think people need to have. And I always talk
Mm.
about Jesus because, well, he made it 33 years old, right? 33, 32, something like that.
33.
Yeah, Jesus was like, he had an extreme sense of urgency. If you look back into
Mhm.
stories, he's like, I ain't
Mhm.
got time to waste. I'm about to die
Right.
in 17 years, you know? Like he knew
Right.
what was gonna happen.
Right.
And so that was a great example for me. Imagine if we lived every day. I gotta earn my sleep, right? Imagine we live
Mhm.
every day like with a sense of urgency. I always say that in the
Mhm.
military branch. And just, correlating that you have no choice but to be successful in it, whatever you do.
Right.
And so much less about the house of the Lord. So this obviously from a spiritual standpoint is I think everything we do should be active worship. Layllen Sawyerr, everything she does, hey,
Mhm.
I can tell. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
more than just motivational. It's more than just
Mhm.
you just this is her. This is who she is. You
Right.
know? And so I say my little piece on it. I'll give you an opportunity to say something about it as well, and then we'll be out of here.
Got it. Whew, that was I was over here thinking I'm going to give you my favorite scripture.
Do it. Let's go.
Um a big one for me is be still and know that I am God. I
Okay.
meditate on that a lot. I have this amazing mentor. She actually lives in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And she would say, whenever you're going through something, just say, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. And be still and know that I. And so I would do that forwards and backwards
Yeah.
whenever I was experiencing something.
Yeah.
And that always brought me a lot of comfort and peace. So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, I can tell you my favorite scripture or my favorite. But in terms of that, read that one more
Yeah.
time because that was so deep.
My dog, he over here. He said, I will not go home.
Hmm.
I will not let myself rest. I will not let
Mhm.
my eyes sleep nor close my eyelids in slumber until I find a place to build a house for the Lord, a
Mhm.
sanctuary for the mighty one of Israel.
I mean, I think it's a lot, like you said. It's a time. Obviously, I just asked to free time, so
Yeah.
if I had the ability to, and I think it's realizing that we do have important work to do. Light
Hmm.
seekers. A lot of times, people will say I'm a light source because a lot of people will. I pour into so many people, like you said. You're
Gravitate
pouring
to.
into everyone who's pouring. So a lot of times, people just feel the natural, like this is what's going on with me. Can you help me or pray for me? Or
Yeah.
and we do have a lot of work, and obviously, with you doing your podcast, you are a light source as well, and you're
Yep.
sharing your knowledge with the world. So that's incredible, but we have work to do. And at the same time, it's just like sticking to the sense of urgency, not having analysis paralysis, understanding how
Yeah.
important what you're doing really truly is, and
Hmm.
things of that nature, so that you can, sorry, my mom's calling me,
Are you
so
good?
that you cannot, so that you don't miss out on the important work that you're here to do. You have important work. You have a very important assignment. You have an
Yeah.
assignment on your life. And so many times we're in cruise control. I talk about this all the time on my morning messages, where don't live life in cruise control, and
Yep.
understand that you have an assignment on your life. You have big work to do. And the faster you find what your purpose is,
Hmm.
the quicker you can get to actually doing it. You can wake up every morning with motivation. You can wake up every morning with a sense of urgency, with a sense of purpose,
Yeah.
with an intention. When I have a goal, and that's why I'm constantly setting new goals, that's why I'm a constant student of life, it gives me a newfound energy and a purpose to wake up every day and understand that I have work to do.
Whew. Again, we're charging for this episode. You think it's free, but we just took $5 out your bank account. That
Yeah,
was
some of these nuggets are in
that.
my
Yeah.
are in my book. Love It All Starts With You, and it's just 4 steps for you to essentially just heal, and for you to move forward and take steps towards loving yourself more, being
Yes.
more selfish with yourself, learning to pour into yourself first.
And we're definitely gonna put that in the description, the book, website, Instagrams, all that stuff. So if you want to reach out to her and learn how to live a better lifestyle, then there you go. I thank you. Cue
Thank
the
you so
applause,
much.
right? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for
Someone
gracing the
just
No
walked
Tech
into
Talk
my house. I
podcast.
just texted them,
It's
I'm
all
back. I'm on
good.
a podcast.
We about to go. No,
No, you're good.
I appreciate you for coming on for sure. It was amazing having you here. It's amazing seeing awesome Black women being a boss, not just
Thank you.
just in general in every area, not just a boss for women or Black. No, in every arena. It's
For
great
sure.
to see that. I always tell people too. I know we just met a while back, but I'm proud of you.
Thank
Right?
you. I do the
You
same
can
to my
never hear
mentees.
that enough. I am so
Yeah.
proud of you for being super dope and for
Thank you.
deciding to give back and be a light for the people out there. And I wish nothing but success and blessings on you for sure.
Thank you. Wishing you the same. Thank you so much for
Yes,
having me again. Keep sharing your wisdom and
I
bringing people
will.
on so that they can share their light as well.
Dope. So this has been another edition of the No Tact Talk podcast. It's always a reminder to live life on purpose and live with little no tact in your life. Peace.